Picture this. You're in the middle of an intense gaming session, but instead of being tethered to a desk, you could be playing anywhere. That's the magic of gaming laptops. Now, you may be thinking, is it worth it? So we're going to go over the pros and cons and see if it's a worthy investment.
Did you get a gaming laptop just to play League?
Now, obviously you can see my gaming PC behind me, but I'll give you my thoughts on that later. But let's start with the pros. I bought this laptop 4 years ago and it was one of my biggest purchases at the time, and it was a huge upgrade to the laptop that I was using. I think it was like a 10-year-old Toshiba laptop that really needed to go in the bin, and I'm blaming that laptop for being stuck in iron because it barely could run League and it didn't even have a graphics card. When I bought my laptop, I was working away from home, so it was really nice to be able to take it between home and the place that I worked. And I often played games with my brother, so it was really nice to come home and even set up in the same room as him. And it was just convenient to have that portability. I could also see how this would be great for someone who likes to have a change of scenery, maybe even gaming it in a cafe or even outside, so you don't feel guilty about missing out on nice weather. And when I got this laptop, I think the first real test was when I used to play Warzone on it for months on end every night. There was some limiting factors, but I'll get to that later. But this thing could pretty much run anything from Stardew Valley to Cyberpunk on the highest frame rate, highest settings and everything. The power of this thing is really impressive, and it does that while being really small and compact, and it also looks really good. The other convenient thing is that you don't have to buy all the other accessories that you might have to buy if you're getting a PC, for example. Monitor, built in. Keyboard, built in. Speaker, built in. Microphone, okay, you get it. Basically, everything's all in one, which also means that if something goes wrong, you can usually take it to the laptop manufacturer and get it fixed. And of course, it functions like a really good normal laptop and does all the normal things that you would want to do, with gaming being the added bonus. Or maybe the normal things are the added bonus. But you get what I'm saying. So now you might be thinking, why the hell would I not get a laptop? It sounds amazing. Everything's perfect. Everything works. But there is some downsides. Remember how I said this was one of my biggest purchases at the time? Well, this laptop set me back £1,400, and that was a good deal. So one thing to note is that gaming laptops can get really expensive. And of course there's budget options, but you start sacrificing on the build quality and resolution and frame rate. And even after spending a lot of money on a really good gaming laptop, you do have to suffer through the helicopter sounds. Helicopter, helicopter! And this is because of the heat. These laptops can get dangerously hot. I feel like I've almost burnt my lap when playing on these things for long periods of time. And that's because the compactness means that there can't be the best cooling systems in place, and that could mean that things kind of get more wear and tear over time, as opposed to something that allows for more space like a PC. And remember that I said you can game anywhere. Well, that's true, I didn't lie. But the battery is, especially when you're gaming, the battery just drains like crazy. So unless you limit the power usage somehow, you're not going to be able to be playing portably for, portably is that word? For long amounts of time, so you might get a couple of hours of game time. But of course, most places that you would go would have a plug socket like cafes and things, but if you're actually going outside, it's not going to last long. One thing many gamers like to do is to upgrade and actually build your PC, and you lose out on that experience of building when you've got a laptop, because no one builds a laptop. And for laptops, it might be quite difficult to upgrade things like the RAM and the GPU just because of the compact space, and it can be quite tricky to take apart. Another thing I personally felt that was a bit of a problem was the keyboard on the laptop can become uncomfortable when gaming. I actually decided to buy an external keyboard because I found that more comfortable and I didn't have to reach forward, and sometimes I would get like a shoulder ache or something just from this tiny keyboard that I have to you know. Whereas with my external keyboard, I could angle it and put it wherever I wanted, because some people really like to play on an angle. So here's a summary of what I just talked about, and I think you just have to weigh up what suits you. Now, since buying this laptop, I have upgraded to a PC setup, but at the time, this laptop really suited me. I was moving around a lot, I had no desk space, and I just love the fact that you can sit in bed and game. It's nice to have that flexibility. I only decided to get a PC because I started to stream at the time, and it was kind of difficult to run Warzone and stream on OBS. It really couldn't handle it. But there is an element of being chained to your desk because I feel like I can't be away from my setup for very long. But at this point in my life, it doesn't really matter because I'm not moving around much. I think I covered most of the pros and cons to getting a gaming laptop, but let me know in the comments if you think I missed anything. And also, if this did help you decide, drop a like. If you want any setup inspiration, check out the rest of my channel and consider subscribing. But other than that, I'll see you next time.